Good evening and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson and I'm here with Royce, and this is episode 63, and today's date is March 8th, 2022. So we welcome everybody to our podcast, and we've got quite a few things that we want to discuss tonight, and even more information that I am anyway, bewildered at, and I don't know if I'll share all of it or not because I'm not sure what it all means. But sometimes the only reason I'm putting that out is many times I'll get some information that I channel through, be it the Galactic Federation or whatever you want to call that. I think it comes with by different names, but some of this information is not real clear, and but it means something, and that sometimes it takes me a while to fully understand. And throughout the years, it's what I understand today compared to what I understood even when I wrote my books. I've grown a lot, put it that way, a lot. Mm-hmm. And so many of you may think that you're new at this, but I tell you what, you're all our masters. So welcome, Royce.
Well, thank you. And hello, everybody.
Welcome. All right. Just a few things that we want to discuss tonight. And even though we've brought this up many times, and that's the word discernment. And it is so important now. And there's, as you know, there's an awful lot going on in the world today. And many are confused as to what really is happening on the world stage. And what is happening in Ukraine, what's going on with Russia, and there are a lot of finger pointings going on. Why is he doing this? Why is he sending in troops there? Why are they killing people? Blah, 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 all this stuff that we're hearing in the mainstream media. I really don't listen to the mainstream media, but I do get bits and pieces of it. And from many other people, including myself, I have to say what we are being told on the mainstream narrative is not what is really happening. And we know, I know for a fact that I think I can say this, the so-called deep state or the cabal, those I call nefarious ones, dark ones, have run various programs on this earth for many, many years. And this stems back thousands of years, actually. And it continues, but it is falling now, and they're trying to grasp with all their might to what they once had, even though these ones will not continue on this earth plane. So I do want to make that clear. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go through some more seemingly dark times, but you don't even have to look at it as a dark time. Look at it as a step toward total peace, joy, and it all stems from the love that we have for ourselves and the love that we have for everyone else and this earth.
I'd like to add about the discernment part with all of this. When you begin to become overwhelmed and your blood pressure is going up, you're getting mad, reacting to what you're seeing on the news and what you're hearing other people say, unplug. That's your cue. You cannot engage fully your own sense of discernment when you are in a mode of reaction. So if you unplug, sit by yourself, look at nature, do whatever it is, something that feeds your soul, but you have to be by yourself without all of the external distractions in order to get a sense of what's going on within yourself. That's where you'll find the discernment, when you can allow yourself the time to feel with your internal senses what something is saying to you what does it really feel like? You'll know, but you have to unplug first. With all the distractions going on, you're not going to get a sense of anything except all the gobbledygook that's going on around you. So that's what I have to say about that.
In the past week or week and a half since this whole Ukraine-Russian, whatever you want to call it, is going on, skirmish, many people are pointing the finger at one person, which I think most of you know who that is. Again, that's mainstream narrative. And where am I going with all this? Is not what is really happening, and they're sending light, which I understand, to the Ukrainians, and continue doing that. Send your light and your love. Also send it to all of Russia and the world, and to yourselves. Again, be into that centered place while you do send it, because you affect everything. Everything. One thing I was told today, and I like the words, and that is, be not encumbered by false narratives. And what Royce just talked about, the anger, the this, the that, and it causes, it causes you to be unhealthy. And if you are acting like that versus or reacting, then you're not helping yourself, you're not helping the world. So remember that.
That proactive thing that you can do is to unplug and be by yourself, so you can hone that ability to discern.
Very good. So it's pretty amazing what we're learning right now, and it's all part of the process that we are going through as Earth. Remember, we hold a lot of power. We affect everything. I know Roy shared one of her childhood experiences with a UFO, and she was in it and moving around an object with her mind. And we all are that powerful to do that. And we do affect everything, no matter what. Even though you don't think you do, you do. Everything is connected, interrelated, all of it. There's not I'm going to say it, there's not a God and there's not a Satan. Somebody, like to separate the two. Everything is one. And that doesn't mean there's not nefarious ones. There are. And that is what's being cleaned off of Earth at this time. And I feel that's what's happening in Ukraine. A lot more going on there through the biolabs. What I understand have been taken out. I believe there are 11 of them. And child trafficking, all of that is being cleaned out. So there are ones that are trying to hold on to that, and it's not going to work. So I know that's kind of some of the gross things that we hear about, but it's that realize what is truly happening and not denigrate another, such as the ruler of Russia for that. So just leave it at that. You can think whatever you want, or use discernment, as Roy said. Just unplug and then feel within.
Yes, and we differ a little bit in how we look at certain things. And so, you were talking about God and Satan. I personally think we create Satan ourselves.
I agree.
and I think that there are those who have visited from elsewhere, not of the earth, who have been portrayed as being that. But the thing about God, to me, God is something that can't be separated out of any one of us, of anything. It's there.
It's everything.
Too vast and too. It's just everywhere. so I believe there is God, but it's not like the standard belief of somebody in heaven.
That's the separation.
It's the separation thing. I'm not on the same page as the separation stuff.
Yeah, we're all one, and we are going into that more love, if you want to use that, and that's unconditional love for yourself and for all. And once we reach that point on this earth, we're heading toward that new earth. All the nefarious doings, all the old programs have to leave. So,
but this has been quite a wonderful time, if you can put that word to it, which I do, because it forces us to see where the beauty really is, and to see where it's not, and to make a choice. We have created a lot of stuff that is not worth keeping. We do that every day. And so it's time to decide what is it? What is it that we want?
And that's basically every moment of every day.
Yes.
What do you choose? Yes, and I mentioned this on other podcasts. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and sometimes I'll fall asleep, and then I realize, what was that about? And I have no idea. And I'm thinking, why am I even listening to it? Because I'm not taking it in. I'm trying to stay up with things. That's one thing. But after a while, it's just like, closing a book that you're done reading or don't need to read, and it's turning off the computer or your phone, whatever it may be, television.
Unplugging from whatever it could be. Yes. Unplugging from a person, unplugging from a situation, from a place, anything.
Yes. Yeah, very good. I think we may call this episode Unplug. So I like that. Yes, and today, and in a moment, Royce is going to give us a lot of information that she received. But a couple of things I wanted to bring forth is today I heard the word timeline subversion. And I questioned that. I said, well, are we undermining timelines? What does this mean? Subversion means undermine. And they said, no, it said not exactly. We're undermining the old timeline. Let's begin again. We are processing the new time and space. Processing, I question what I get. Processing means bringing it forth. And that is what's going down. And so what is the old ways are breaking down. And there has been interference from what we may call the nefarious ones. But it's also a call to come together so we can strategize for unity. It's happening. Even though the nefarious ones are trying their hardest to keep that separation going. Okay. Do you want to talk about some of the things that you received today, and then I'll go into more first stuff?
Okay. Today, when we were talking about what the podcast was going to be about, we realized that we were not alone. Bev saw a platform. It was like floating and at a bit of a distance, with two individuals on it, and I could tell that there were more individuals back behind them.
Yeah.
And but two of them came forward and were in the room with us. And so this is what I got. We stand alone in this. There are those who think that the earth is flat. Their thoughts are two-dimensional. Their foresight is narrow. We are asking that you help to undivide the paths of the people. We need you. And my thoughts went to the words that we use in our speech, and the guidance that we share with everyone. And I posed a question. I said, when you said that you were alone in this, what did you mean? And the answer was, we have come to you specifically as a request for all mankind. We meant that we chose to do this on our own. Our platform is a judicial platform, for we are of the tribunal for the betterment of all concerned. It is our job to uphold the greater good and those influences connected for the service of all life, to all life, not just on the earth, but in this sector of the mighty band of planetary systems you call the Milky Way galaxy. Let me see. Be strong and mighty in your work, and have no doubts as to the weight of the work you are doing. Peace for now, beloved friends and comrades. Peace. I found it very interesting that they said "and comrades." That's a word that you hear used in Russia and that surrounding area, and I hadn't thought about that till now. But it's friends and comrades, so they're speaking to everyone.
I was going to say that's just not us, Royce and myself, and one of our other friends were here at the time. But anyway, it's for everyone. So do remember that, and we do have an awful lot of assistance going on right now.
Yes. And also the reference to two-dimensional in the beginning of this, they said that there are those who think that the earth is flat. Their thoughts are two-dimensional. I can understand that. I can wrap my head around that because of the artworks that I do. I work on the computer, and so you can draw like a circle filled in, a solid circle, and you can add gradient to the color inside of the circle to the point and you can make the center point, more toward the center of the sphere, and you can make it look like it is truly a sphere instead of just a circle. It looks like it comes off the page.
Using the gradients.
Yes, using the gradients. And so that which is flat looks as though it's three-dimensional. So I can understand, people saying that the earth is flat, because something can truly be flat, but you can add hues to it, however you interpret that, to make it look like it's something else. So it just adds a totally different flair.
It sure does. Okay, and then question. Okay, using the gradients in this holographic universe.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about being confused. But go with me. We've been told we live in a holographic universe, because we're sending our consciousness out together.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. And there are what I have heard of that some creative forces, such as the Brotherhood of Creator Forces. I think 180,000. It's in my first book. I'm trying to remember how that was said. But there are certain ones that have certain jobs, just like we do here on Earth. That doesn't mean we also have a job outside of the Earth. So anyway, we're going out there today. Going back to what you said about the gradient on a two-dimensional plane, like you're drawing on a computer or on a piece of paper, whatever it may be, and you're using basically blacks and whites, and when you use the gradients, you see yellow, as you said, and
mm-hmm.
other colors may pop into our visual spectrum,
mm-hmm.
correct? Okay. Question is this, though: are we on a two-dimensional world or a flat Earth, or are we on a round sphere?
Well, it all depends upon what phase of the creative process you're in. Because first you have the thought about something, just a fleeting thought about something you'd like to see. And then you start dwelling on that, and it's like, oh, well, what if I do this to it, or you need to draw it. So that's where the dimensionality begins to come into play. When you put it on paper, then and you add the gradients to the shape, that's when it starts to look like it's three-dimensional, and it's like, oh, I can build that. So you start building it, and then the next thing you know, you have something fully in physical, but it began as a thought. So it's part of the creative process.
So the thought is like the two-dimensional.
The thought is actually pre-two-dimensional.
Yeah, okay. Wow, okay.
A spark.
A spark. And then we have been living in a three-dimensional world. Okay, so through our thought processes, I think I can say this correctly, putting into action, we can see ourselves as physical, three-dimensional, bodies, everything.
Yes.
On earth plane.
But when the creative process still keeps on going, it becomes much more than three-dimensional. It goes on and on and on, limitless, until the thought process catches up and says, I understand. We are, all of this is unlimited.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is very interesting, and it really goes very deep into the power of ourselves.
It goes deep quickly, because once you put focus on something, it opens it up, and it's like everything happens all at once, going everywhere, in every direction, all at the same time.
And what's time?
It's exponential.
We call it time because space and time are tandem, much the same thing. Well,
we just went out on a tangent we didn't expect to go on.
That's correct. When you hear this, it's like, well, wait a minute, what does this mean? Huh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Anything else on that?
No, I think that's probably enough.
I think it might be enough to chew on for a while, but it makes you understand the power of, you can call it God, whatever you want to call it, of Creator, and we are an aspect or a part of Creator. And we each have our own ability to create as creators in this whole of Creator. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How could we not be playing a part in the creative theater? We have a brain. We have synapses. We have a heart. You put those things together, and there is nothing that we cannot do. And once we truly realize that, we won't have to be playing these silly games anymore.
That we put this silly game into practice as part of the great experiment to know what that truly means.
Yeah, we know what it looks like. We know how it feels, and it's not all that pretty.
No. But when you start seeing it for what it is, it's really quite beautiful. I know. It sounds like a contradiction of terms, but it's not.
The way it plays out, that it can play out, it's like, oh man, that's what creation feels like. That's what it looks like. And it truly is beautiful. Well, when you apply it to the way people are experiencing how that plays out in their own lives, it can get a little dicey.
Remember the power that you are, and the more that you create through love, then in gratitude, your life will change just like that.
Yes.
So do remember that. We talked about our DNA. What's in the human DNA is quite phenomenal.
Yeah. It's unlimited.
It is. You know, we're a popular planet, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have all our friends here, and all our friends are part of us. So we're doing all this together.
Yeah.
But each one of you are extremely important, and really, that's a big thing to understand. Love yourself unconditionally, and you'll start making different choices, and your life will change drastically, and the earth will change drastically. Okay. Wow. All right. Some deep stuff. Just a couple of things. I'm going to make it on I don't know if this is called a lighter note or not. But it is going to our physicality here in the United States and on Earth and beyond. We're in the United States, obviously, but you know, a lot of people that listen to us are other places in the world. And boy, we love you all. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Every one of us. But here in the United States, this is something I heard recently when I'm channeling or I get these messages. And one of them was the Star-Spangled Banner is becoming more popular, and the patriotism is coming back, not only for this country, but other people and their other cultures are becoming more patriotic to their country too. Mm-hmm. And it's very important that we are, because then we understand each other's cultures, and we can appreciate other cultures, and we share and we learn, and it's intriguing or enlightening. It's all of that.
Mm-hmm. You can appreciate where you've been and how you got there.
Yeah. So regarding what I saw with the United States, that there a good possibility that the United States and Canada will combine. I got the word paletro or paletro. That's what it was, paletro. At least that's how I spelled it. I'm not sure what that means. So anybody listening, what paletro means, I have no idea. But I thought I'd put it out there to learn more. And what I did hear, though, is the changing of the guard, like starting anew. And they did say that this year, 2022, is very pivotal for all places on Earth. So the alliance programs, and I believe there's different alliances, but I'm talking about the loving alliance, and that includes people on Earth as well as not on Earth, mm-hmm. or other worldly beings. But anyways, there's programs on Earth and beyond. So there's a lot going on in our solar system at this time and beyond. Yeah. So no, that is also happening. Here back in the United States, I and Royce, we were both seeing that many of our states will start combining into one.
Yeah.
So our whole United States looks like it's going to be restructured. So when? Don't know. It may happen this decade. So seeing that now.
That's pretty soon.
Yeah. So mm-hmm. 2027, 2028. That we'll start seeing things before that. This is coming in right now, guys. So that's that. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's the whole new government structures. We've known about that. Washington, D.C., I don't think there'll be any more.
As it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's already gone. I heard it's very quiet there. And then a lot of the agencies, three-letter agencies, I know if we've said this on another podcast or a while back, that they'll be gone also. So there's just a whole change going on right now. And just everything's going to be more unified worldwide, but each of us still maintaining our own culture. But it's going to be such a loving, sharing world. So it's really nice to see. So very positive. All right. Anything else you want to add to that?
not at this time.
All right. So it's like, wow. All right. I can start tuning in, and it's like, well, even our arts and all of that are going to be more important. I'm seeing that right now, and which is going to tell the story of the world and the worlds. So that's interesting. So we're going to find out so much of what's been going on and what continues to go on that is going to be astounding. The technologies that we're getting into, and I'm not talking about ones that are in transhumanism, that sort of thing. No, this is beyond that to assist the human and humanity that are going to be so phenomenal. I think a lot of it's already in, we have, but most of the populace does not know that. But I feel it's going to even extend beyond even what some of our military has been involved in. Some of it has been hijacked, and that is it's the right word. Canceled. It's leaving. I don't know how to say that. So it's not going to be taken over by any dark ones. Put it that way. So we're on a positive timeline. And at one time, that we weren't sure what direction that was going to go in. That doesn't mean that this is over. That means it's time to make those choices that are best for you and for the world. And that's not selfish. That is loving yourself unconditionally as well as all others.
That's right. It's when you feel that love within yourself, that's when you can truly give it to others.
Yeah. Exactly. Remember that one. All right. Well, thank you for being with us tonight. And a lot shared, a lot of depth shared tonight. So a lot to think about and to understand who we truly are. If anybody has any comments, questions, we do welcome that. And I do want to mention, Royce has 2 books out. And do you want to just do a quick?
One of them is on the subject matter of sacred geometry, and it's called Walking into the Eye of God. And the other one is the story of it's like the story of at least part of my life was put out in 2014, and it is called When the Night Comes Creeping, story of what woke me up and how I internalized all of that, how I started asking questions and how the questions became my teachers. And so, and that includes visitations from beings who don't exist or didn't at that time on the planet Earth. So it's got some really neat stuff in there.
It does. And then your take and understanding this and how that can apply to all of us.
Yeah.
Deeper understanding.
Yeah, you can walk out your front door and stump your toe, and the way it happens, it can jar something. It means something to you. Whereas, if it had happened the day before, it was like, oh, I stumped my toe. But this day, it was like something happened, and it just, I don't know, it meant something to me. All of a sudden, I looked up in the sky, and there was a flock of birds, and it looked like they were singing to me. It's just like something different happens. So, but, you have to be paying attention.
Pay attention. Yes. And for me, I've written 3 books, Mystery of the Universes series. So they are, each book is in and of itself, yet it does continue. And so the first book is just basically Mystery of the Universes, which is a prophecy fulfilled, my own prophecy, which I didn't realize when I wrote it. That's what was going on. I realized that later and did, I think, write that in the book because I went, oh, it's one of those O's. And the second book is Mystery of the Universes, Book 2, and the third, Mystery of the Universes, Book 3. And it looks like I am going to be writing another one, and but don't hold me to a timeline on that one.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing another sacred geometry book, but I can't tell you when that'll be finished either. I'm in the midst.
Yeah. Mine's going to include a lot. I'm trying to connect dots, and I don't know if they're ever going to be all connected because they continue. So I don't think that's even a possibility. But I'm going to try to put a lot of things together and piece together from my own experiences and writings, and not only my books but other writings that I've done through the years. So it's a big task that I'm excited to undertake, and I know I have to focus on it. So I'm going to put aside time to do that. So anyway, well, thank you so much again for coming here. Again, our next episode is March 22nd at 7 o'clock. Anybody that wants to listen live, they are welcome to. And the numbers are on our YouTube page that you can call into and to listen and ask questions. Or if you have, again, questions, you can put it on our YouTube page under the comments or under each episode. And we do appreciate that, those that do write us. And then occasionally I do have somebody that will write me personally, and I try to bring that forward to everybody if I feel it's something for everybody to hear. And that's, as a energy type worker with other people, intuitive counselor, then anything that is told to me in private, I never disclose. And because it's up to each and every one of us to disclose whatever's for them personally. But anyway, that's that. I thank you again. And anything you would want to say?
Yes. I know that these times are quite difficult for a lot of people. And my wish for you is that peace enfold you, and that you realize how much you are loved. I love you very much. And I would like for you to please consider our four-legged companions or feathered companions, any of those of the animal kingdom that you have living with you. Please consider them. They are conscious. They need your love. They share their love with you. Please make sure that they are well taken care of. And if you see those who are not, please don't be silent. And that's all I have to say. I love you very much, and thank you so much for staying.
And you're all beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And good night.